So it is my great honor today to be your moderator for this special webinar event, which is held jointly by the Hong Kong Academy of Gifted Education, 香港資優教育學院, as well as the Hong Kong Young Academy of Sciences, 香港青年科學院. So coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19 in short, has affected everyone's lives in Hong Kong since January this year. The new coronavirus that was identified in Wuhan in December 2019 has now spread across the world. And just a few days ago, the World Health Organization has declared COVID-19 as an official pandemic, meaning that it is not just a local disease that is affecting individual parts of the world, but it is a disease of global scale. So like me, I'm sure that you all have heard and read many stories about COVID-19, wondering if they are true. So we're most honored to have two speakers and experts in the field of public health to share with us an update on the situation, what might we expect to happen in the coming few months, as well as their own research work relating to this newly emerging disease. So they are Professor Leo Poon, as well as Professor Ben COWLING, both from the School of Public Health, Faculty of Medicine at the University of Hong Kong, and both are also founding members of the Hong Kong Young Academy of Sciences. So after the sharing by Professor Poon and Professor COWLING, we'll take questions from the audience. So if you're joining us today through Zoom, you're in luck because you can also participate in this conversation. So feel free to drop us questions through the Q&A box in the Zoom software. So note that we'll only be looking out for questions in the Q&A box, but not in the webinar chat box. So if you type your question in the chat box, it won't be coming through to us. So remember to put your question in the Q&A box, okay? So before we begin, I'm also most delighted to say that we are blessed with the presence of Honorable Professor Lap-Chee Tsui, President of the Hong Kong Academy of Sciences, who are with us today. So may I now first invite Professor Lap-Chee Tsui for an opening speech. Professor Tsui, please.
各位大家好，我非常高興今日可以得到香港青年科學院同埋香港資優教育學院嘅邀請，喺呢度講幾句説話。我有3點喺度想同大家分享嘅。首先，香港科學院同埋香港青年科學院都希望為香港嘅科學研究同埋教育做一啲貢獻，所以我要恭喜香港青年科學院今日同香港資優學院策劃咗呢個嘅科學講座。大家都知道，從今年嘅年初，新冠狀病毒肺炎呢個疫情咧爆發以嚟咧，我哋聽到好多專家、學者、醫生同埋政府部門嘅發言，大部分咧都係用訪問或者係宣佈嘅形式嘅。今日主持人同埋2位講者都係科學家，我知道佢哋咧係會用佢哋自己嘅專業知識同大家講解呢個新冠狀病毒 COVID-19 嘅呢個基本知識、快速測試同埋呢個疾病傳播嘅情況，所以係香港第一個關於新冠狀病毒嘅公開科學講座。第2點，大家需要知道，科學家係研究事物背後嘅科學緣由同埋機制嘅，即係用科學辦法觀察同埋收集數據，分析結果同埋作出結論，然後可以用得到嘅知識應用到唔同嘅地方。大家亦都需要知道，結論係分析嘅結果。雖然科學家都係用佢知道科學呢個嘅客觀嘅重要性，但係最後結論咧都係有限制嘅，都係因為限制於呢個嘅收集數據同埋觀察嘅方法，甚至咧做呢個嘅結論時候咧係會有一啲主觀。如果科學家作呢個推論或者係預測未來咧，咁啊更加主觀啦。希望大家都明白呢一點。第3點就因為科學家嘅結論咧係根據觀察同埋收集數據所得嚟做分析嘅，有時候咧會有唔同嘅結論，所以一般大眾會覺得點解唔同嘅科學家講啲嘢唔一樣咧？甚至今日講咗呢樣，過多2日又唔一樣咧？所以大家可以問點解，但呢個問題咧唔係一定有答案嘅。最後我希望今日大家都用科學精神，一個增長知識嘅態度，對呢個新冠狀病毒有更多嘅認識。我咧亦都會同大家一齊學習。多謝大家。
Thank you very much, Professor Tsui, for the very nice opening. So without further ado, let's start with our first speaker. So may I first invite Professor Leo Poon to speak. So Professor Poon received his doctoral training at the University of Oxford and then returned to Hong Kong, where he's currently a full professor in the School of Public Health at Hong Kong University. Professor Poon is a molecular virologist and studies viruses of global health concern. His research helps to reveal the biology of influencing viruses and coronaviruses, and also facilitates the development of control measures against these diseases. He and his team also recently developed a rapid nucleic acid amplification test to detect COVID-19 in patients, and this test is now being widely used in public health care laboratories in more than 40 countries, with cases successfully confirmed. So without further ado, may I now invite Professor Leo Poon, please.
好，大家同學來賓，我哋大家好。咁啊，今日好高興咧，我哋又能夠係一個鐘頭時間咧，就係會講解下一個新型冠狀病毒究竟係啲咩嚟嘅。咁前嗰半個鐘咧，我就會講解呢個病毒本身啦，我哋點樣測試啦，同埋我哋究竟有乜嘢方法咧，將來可以係醫治呢啲咁嘅病人，或者係我哋將來避免到感染嘅情況。咁之後嗰半個鐘咧，有 Professor COWLING 喺度講下究竟點樣個病毒點樣傳染。咁呢半個鐘我就會講下病毒本身啦。咁就我哋第一方面就講下究竟咩係冠狀病毒。冠狀病毒其實係咧呢個冠狀病毒喺好多嘅地方咧都會可以揾到嘅。嗱，咁其實咧冠狀病毒喺大自然界裏邊咧，可以喺啲唔同嘅動物，人啦、豬啦、蝙蝠啦，甚至係海裏邊嘅哺乳類動物咧，都可以揾到呢啲咁嘅病毒。咁當然佢哋種類係唔一樣啦，但係佢都歸類為一個叫冠狀病毒嘅病毒。咁喺人當中咧，過去未有沙士或者係沙士嗰陣時候病毒發嗰陣時候咧，係得4種。我哋而家呢刻嘅話咧，係知道有6種呢個冠狀病毒。咁6種冠狀病毒咧，就其中4種咧係譬如話人嘅冠狀病毒 229E、229E、HK1、OC43、NL63 呢4種嘅冠狀病毒咧喺人裏邊咧係可以自然咁傳播嘅。咁佢哋亦都會係引致一啲輕微嘅傷風嘅症狀。咁大部分嘅人咧都會咧係完全好快咁痊愈嘅。咁有2隻比較嚴重啲嘅病，就係譬如話沙士同埋中東呼吸綜合症呢2個病咧，亦都係一啲冠狀病毒而感染咗之後咧而發病嘅。咁佢哋嘅死亡率就非常之高啦。譬如話呢個沙士嘅話咧，係講緊大概有1成嘅病人咧會死亡啦。中東呼吸綜合症嘅咧係講緊35% 嘅死亡。咁佢哋有咩特徵啊？其實佢哋咧喺外表圍當中咧，見到佢嘅病毒本身咧都係有啲刺狀嘅蛋白。咁我呢次睇落去咧一個皇冠咁嘅情況，咁我哋可以叫做冠狀病毒。當佢哋呢啲病毒咧去到一啲細胞裏邊之後咧，佢會主要咧就會繁殖佢自己啦。主要繁殖自己嘅方法咧就係製造啲蛋白同埋製造啲核酸。將佢哋製造完之後咧，佢就會聚集埋喺一個地方，就跟住咧就喺細胞以外咧放發出嚟啦。個情況就係話感染咗之後，就好似而家一樣。當呢個細胞呢個係細胞表面，當佢病毒喺裏邊製造咗一啲大量嘅病毒之後咧，佢就會喺個表面度咧散播開佢出嚟。咁而家見到畫面裏邊呢啲個藍色咧就係一個細胞表面嘅表面膜細胞壁，跟住之後又會見到一啲橙色嘅，其實呢啲就係感染咗細胞而產生出嚟嘅冠狀病毒，就喺病毒咧就喺細胞上面咧釋放出嚟。如果我哋做一個橫切面嘅話咧，你見到呢度橙色嘅咧地方咧，其實又係啲冠狀病毒咧喺一個感染咗細胞裏邊咧發放出嚟。而家呢一個啦，就係咧我哋一個其實電子顯微鏡上面睇到一個單一嘅冠狀病毒。其實呢個咧就見到咧呢個就係病毒本身啦。出邊咧你又見到一啲冠狀病毒嘅表面蛋白，咁就叫次蛋白。咁令到睇落去之後咧，就好似個皇冠出嚟啦。咁呢個病毒咧，其實喺呢個新型冠狀病毒喺2019年嘅12月31日咧，就係喺中國內地就發咗個消息，話有一啲嘅病人係有啲非典型嘅肺炎，佢哋全大部分嘅人咧都係喺呢個華南海鮮市場裏邊咧發現嘅。佢哋可能有一個曾經入過去啦、接觸史啦，或者曾經喺裏邊做過嘢嘅。咁但係啦，而家呢刻嘅話咧，就多啲證據睇到咧，其實呢個病毒本身可能喺海鮮市場以外嘅人咧，都係有感染過。推前到係講緊12月頭咧， 都有啲咁嘅病人，而呢啲病人咧未必係同呢個咧病市場係有接觸史嘅。咁究竟佢哋嘅來源喺邊度咧？而家都未有一個好實質嘅科學證據話到俾我哋聽喺邊個地方。嗱，咁而家頭先講過啦，就係話呢個新型冠狀病毒係講12月尾喺呢個武漢呢個華南海鮮市場啦。我哋啱啱前嗰幾日3月11號嗰陣時候咧，就世衛將佢改咗呢個係有一個大流行。究竟點解大流行咧？我哋不妨咧睇一睇呢個畫面。一陣間我哋會將呢個畫面咧就睇下究竟呢個病 COVID-19 究竟點樣喺全世界裏邊咧喺流行咯。咁一陣間我哋又會開始係1月頭嗰陣時候咧，跟住之後開始睇到病毒究竟點樣喺呢個全世界裏邊散播。嗱，你見到呢啲點咧就係講緊佢嘅顏色啦，就係講緊佢嘅唔同嘅病人嘅數字。譬如話呢一點嘅話咧，大概有25至49個病人。嗱，一陣間可能會見到大部分嘅情況喺初期嗰陣時候咧，都係黃點嘅，即係講10個 case 以內嘅。咁就係一啲個別嘅例子啦。但係我想你留意到，就係當然去到2月中之後咧，就會見到顯著上咧，全世界咧都有好多地方係有一個紅點出現嘅。我哋而家開始做啦。而家講1月尾嘅時間，大部分人都仲係講緊東南亞或者中國。去到2月中嗰陣時候，開始見到韓國啊、日本啊都會見到。周遭嘅國家都係講啲，譬如其他州份嘅都係講黃點嘅啫。到2月中啦，見到意大利、伊朗呢啲地方開始出現大爆發，甚至去到3月頭啦，見到美洲都開始見到有啲地方開始有爆發啦。嗱，咁點解會世衛講緊呢個大流行咧？其實就係因為咧喺全世界裏邊咧都有一啲好多嘅個案出現，而呢個個案咧係一啲集體性嘅出現，而且係未必能夠完全控制得到嘅。咁世衛點解會3月11號講咧？就因為嗰陣時嗰刻有證據喺唔同嘅州份南美洲、北美洲、非洲、歐洲。譬如話呢個大洋洲，佢哋都見到有啲好大規模嘅爆發嘅個案，咁所以咧世衛就將呢個警戒級別咧提高，希望唔同嘅國家都去作出佢最好嘅準備去對付呢個疫情。咁而家呢刻3月13號嘅情況咧，就係大概有13萬個個案，而且我哋都會繼續推斷到咧，會繼續有更加多嘅個案喺唔同嘅世界每一個角落裏邊咧，可能會發生。好啦，咁我哋講呢個病毒係啲咩嚟嘅咧？我哋講冠狀病毒。冠狀病毒頭先講過啦，好多唔同嘅冠狀病毒，可能喺豬裏邊揾到，喺海豚會揾到，可能喺雀鳥都可以揾到。咁我哋點樣分類咧？咁喺1月頭嗰陣時候，我哋知道呢個係冠狀病毒嗰陣時候，我哋做基因嘅分析，就希望能夠更加了解究竟呢個病毒嘅來源喺邊度。咁我哋基因嘅分析咧，其實就睇下究竟佢哋類比下。究竟病毒與病毒之間嘅相似度係點樣？簡單嚟講啦，譬如我哋知道一啲呢個叫做基因樹見到呢個人啦，呢啲猿猴啦，我哋可能會睇到對比下佢哋嘅基因排序，睇下佢哋會唔會好相似，或者幾唔相似。越相似嘅話咧，佢哋就會擺埋一齊。咁當佢哋呢個線嘅距離咧越嚟越近嘅話咧，就代表佢哋越嚟越相似。譬如話係呢個嘅話，同呢一個人比嘅話咧，呢隻猿猴嘅動物咧。就相對嚟講咧，基因排序咧係嚟講咧係一個好遠嘅比較唔相似嘅地方啦。咁情況病毒就一樣啦。病毒其實呢啲都係一啲冠狀病毒。我哋喺唔同嘅冠狀病毒，頭先講過啦，譬如話 HKU1 啊、OC43 啊、N63 啊、229E 呢啲都係人嘅冠狀病毒。嗱，你睇睇佢哋嘅距離咧，同呢個新型嘅冠狀病毒，我哋叫做 SARS 冠狀病毒2。就即係呢個新型冠狀病毒咧，係同佢哋好唔相似。但係你睇睇呢個就係2003年沙士嘅病毒嘅基因排序，同呢個新型冠狀病毒沙士冠狀病毒2嘅基因排序，其實佢哋相對嚟講係非常之相似啦。咁其實喺分類學上邊嚟講咧，喺早排1月頭嗰陣時候咧，1月中嗰陣時候咧，我哋就已經咧定咗咧呢個沙士冠狀病毒2咧，其實就係呢個名啦，就係呢個新型冠狀病毒喺學術上面分類學咧，其實同沙士嘅病毒咧係同一個屬嘅。咁睇到佢哋其實係一個好相似嘅地方咁其實大部分呢兩個咧係講有大部分嘅基因排序咧係有70% 到嘅相似，咁係一個好相似嘅基因排序。好啦，頭先講過啦，基因排序係有啲基因樹啊嘛，就係講緊唔同嘅動物可能相似，我哋點樣比對啦？咁而家頭先講到呢一個係講緊新型冠狀病毒同冠狀病毒嘅基因排序亦都好相似。如果我哋淨係睇所有嘅新型冠狀病毒嘅基因排序嘅話咧，我哋有啲好有趣嘅情況出現。嗱，呢個咧就係現時咧喺全世界嗰邊咧睇到，我哋有大概400個嘅圖譜，係全部都係講緊呢個新型冠狀病毒嘅圖譜。我哋將佢比較嘅話咧，我哋其實可以見到佢哋咧有啲唔同嘅，我哋叫做 cluster 嘅情況啦。呢啲越相似嘅地方，病毒咧嘅基因排序咧就會喺埋一齊。你會見到一啲地方，譬如話呢度係美洲嘅，你會見到可能係一個個案引致咧有多個基因嘅多個社區裏面爆發。但係除咗呢個之外咧，你見到其他紅色啲地方咧，都係一啲美洲嘅喺揾到嘅新型冠狀病毒。咁你見到啦，其實可能美洲咧，其實有幾個唔同嘅新型冠狀病毒係雖然都係同一樣嘢，但係有基因上面有少少唔一樣。佢哋分別咧喺唔同世界角落咧，可能傳入到美洲當中。咁情況亦都喺呢度啦。譬如話呢度係睇到係歐洲嘅情況，呢度係英國啦，呢度係荷蘭啦。呢度係威爾斯，就係英國啦。呢度荷蘭，你見到情況可以睇到咧，我哋可以藉着呢啲咁嘅圖譜，能夠追蹤到究竟呢啲病毒由邊度去到邊度，可能點樣引入，或者係人同人之間點樣傳播。咁黑色嘅地方就係講緊中國啦。你見到中國其實都有唔同嘅基因圖譜喺裏邊，即係睇到其實咧呢個世界呢一刻可能係有好多初頭係一個喺武漢裏邊揾到，佢哋逐漸散播去到其他世界角落，直接演化到唔同，有少少唔同嘅嘅 cluster， 令到我哋可以知道究竟個病毒係由幾耐去到另一個地方，而且佢嘅轉變亦都係會點樣？咁係咪真係頭先我講嘅冠狀病毒？我哋講03年已經揾到㗎啦。咁其實係咪我哋真係做公共研究嘅、衞生研究嘅，或者科學家係真係冇乜去理會過呢啲咁嘅冠狀病毒咧？其實絕對唔係嘅。譬如話2012年有中東呼吸綜合症啦，我哋都有唔同嘅科學家或者科研嘅機構咧去做啲研究嘅。咁世衛咧其實都係好緊密注意到呢啲咁嘅新型嘅病毒爆發會點樣影響到社會甚至人嘅生命。咁喺過去咁多年咧，其實世衛都好着緊去做一啲叫做大流行防護規劃嘅計劃嘅情況，就希望咧我哋點樣叫做 pandemic preparedness plan， 就係點樣可以真係當有啲事或者有啲新型嘅病毒爆發嘅時候，或者新型嘅病爆發嘅時候，我哋點樣可以去應對咧？點樣可以令到我哋可以更加減低我哋人命嘅損失咧？咁其實2018年啦，譬如講緊就係世衛咧，亦都係講緊一個叫做我哋叫做R&D blueprint， 就係講緊我哋真係點樣我哋做啲藍圖我哋計劃下點樣可以做啲研究，繼續可以做一啲防範措施，令到當有新型嘅病爆發嘅時候，我哋能夠即時咧可以做一啲更加快嘅應變。咁譬如話喺2018年，佢哋攞咗呢啲類嘅病毒咧，或者病菌咧，譬如話中東呼吸綜合症嘅病毒啦、沙士病毒啦，甚至係有 Zika 啦、Zika virus 啦，或者甚至一隻我哋唔知不知名嘅病毒 X 病毒。咁我哋嘅目的就係話，我哋用呢啲方法，當呢啲係一個我哋嘅模型，我哋嘅目標。當呢啲咁嘅病毒出現嘅話，我哋可以做啲咩嘅研究，去令到嗰啲疫情會減低咧？咁我一陣間未來嘅10幾分鐘咧，就會講下我哋根據呢啲咁嘅藍圖，我哋喺病毒嘅研究當中啦、測試啦，甚至一啲咁嘅藥物或者係疫苗咧，我哋點樣可以藉着呢啲咁嘅我哋嘅項目咧，去做啲研究。當呢個新型嘅病毒出現嘅時候，我哋能夠咧作出反應。直今次見到 COVID-19 新型冠狀病毒爆發嘅時候咧，正正係呢啲咁嘅藍圖咧，能夠我哋縮短我哋嘅研究時間，喺之前嘅準備咧，令到呢刻我哋能夠更加可以快去做一啲應變。咁頭先講過2003年有新型冠狀沙士病毒啦，喺2012年有呢個中東呼吸綜合症啦，咁2019年年尾有一個 SARS coronavirus 2新型冠狀病毒2嘅情況出現。咁究竟呢啲病毒喺邊度嚟嘅咧？咁過去我哋嘅研究當中咧，睇到呢啲嘅病毒咧，原來咧大部分咧喺特別係沙士病毒或者係中呼吸中嘅病毒咧，我哋懷疑呢啲咁嘅病毒咧係由蝙蝠傳染到一啲中介體譬如話2003年嘅就係講緊一啲果子狸或者係啲野味喺野生市場裏邊售賣嘅。當佢哋啲病毒去到呢啲咁嘅野味當中咧，輾轉去到人當中，以致咧引起個大規模嘅爆發。中東呼吸中嘅定義一樣啦，我哋知道咧呢啲嘅駱駝係接受咗一啲新型嘅病毒，跟住令到咧佢喺廣泛喺呢個駱駝裏邊咧中間去傳播，以致人同駱駝緊密接觸嘅時候咧，佢就感染到，以致咧病發。咁而家呢刻嘅話咧，究竟呢個新型冠狀病毒係咪蝙蝠嚟嘅咧？究竟佢點樣傳染嘅咧？究竟有冇中介體咧？我哋都未必有一個好準確嘅把握，但係咧我哋都有啲假設嘅，因為我哋過去呢2個月咧有啲唔同嘅，譬如話病毒科學家都揾到啲證據，呢隻病毒好可能係由蝙蝠傳染俾一啲動物，以至去到人嘅當中。喺1月頭，當知道呢個係一個新型嘅冠狀病毒嘅爆發嘅時候，我哋有班喺武漢嘅科學家咧，其實佢哋喺2003年開始咧，已經不遺餘力咧，係喺裏邊咧揾下究竟沙士病毒源頭喺邊度。佢哋喺過去嗰10幾年當中咧，係喺蝙蝠身上面攞咗好多樣本去做一啲研究，睇下有冇邊啲病毒咧係同沙士嘅病毒咧相似。但係除咗之外咧，佢哋亦都可以衍生到好多揾到好多唔同嘅蝙蝠裏邊嘅冠狀病毒。當我新型沙士嘅新型冠狀病毒爆發嘅時候，佢哋知道個基因圖譜嘅時候，佢哋即刻揾翻佢哋以前揾到嘅病毒做一個比對，就發覺咧原來喺佢哋一啲嘅以前揾到嘅蝙蝠嘅病毒當中咧，就會有啲原來係同而家新型冠狀病毒好相似嘅，特別係一隻叫做中谷頭蝠嘅蝙蝠裏邊咧揾到一隻病毒，佢咧係同呢個新型冠狀病毒係有96% 嘅基因排序相似。其實喺呢個分類學上面講咧，其實係好相似噶啦。基本上係我哋都好大嘅可能咧，知道我哋呢個新型冠狀病毒人嘅新型冠狀病毒嘅源頭咧，都係來自呢個蝙蝠身上邊。但係我哋而家唔清楚嘅就係，究竟呢個病毒係蝙蝠傳染俾人當中啦，定係蝙蝠傳染咗一個中介體，係一啲我哋唔知嘅哺乳類動物，跟住輾轉去到人當中感染咗，以致產生一個喺而家呢刻人同人之間可以有效咁樣傳播嘅病毒。呢一個而家都仲係一個我哋唔能夠解答到嘅問題。我哋需要更加多嘅時間喺唔同嘅動物身上邊咧，去抽取樣本，去睇下究竟會唔會有啲咁嘅動物係相同帶有呢啲咁嘅新型嘅冠狀病毒。咁呢個時間我諗係都要需要一段時間先至能夠揾得到，因為而家呢刻我哋都未必有一個好準確嘅方向，究竟去邊啲病毒去收集。其實講緊2003年沙士嘅時候咧，係講緊2年多嘅時間咧，先知道原來蝙蝠上邊咧係有帶有呢個沙士嘅病毒。咁而家呢刻嘅話咧，我諗都需要一段時間咧，先至能夠真係肯定到究竟蝙蝠身上邊嘅病毒點樣傳染俾其他動物，以致傳染到人。好啦，頭先講過，我哋知道話2003年沙士爆發嘅時候，我哋亦都有唔同嘅專家，有科學家去特別對呢啲咁嘅病毒、冠狀病毒研究，特別喺呢個蝙蝠裏邊咧，佢哋都好着力去揾下究竟有冇其他嘅新型嘅病毒。咁而家呢個咧就係呢個基因樹咧，就係講2003年我哋沙士爆發嘅時候，呢個就係沙士嘅病毒。而嗰陣時候嗰刻，其實我哋對冠狀病毒嘅認識咧都非常之少嘅啫。我哋知道嘅就係話，我哋喺老鼠上邊咧，或者喺鼠類上面咧，知道有啲冠狀病毒；喺牛嘅身上邊都有啲冠狀病毒，雞有冠狀病毒，或者啲豬或者人都有啲冠狀病毒。但係我哋知嘅數目咧，其實係非常之少嘅，係講緊 而家睇畫面睇到係講大概10隻啊。但係當我哋喺做科學家知道要病毒喺野生嘅動物裏邊咧，有好多唔同嘅病毒嘅時候，佢哋開始着手做嘅時候咧，就發覺原來咧蝙蝠上邊或者甚至其他動物咧都好多唔同嘅冠狀病毒。嗱，呢一個就係2010年嘅基因圖譜啊，講緊我哋已知喺蝙蝠身上邊揾到嘅基因病嘅冠狀病毒。嗱，而家畫面見到紅色嘅線嘅地方咧，每一個盡頭咧都係其實講緊一個嘅蝙蝠嘅冠狀病毒。咁而家你見到嗱229E 啦、NL63 啦、沙士病毒啦，呢啲都見到咧，其實係我哋人嘅病毒都冇乜增加到，但係你睇到呢啲咁嘅紅色嘅就係蝙蝠嘅病毒，睇到係其實大自然界裏邊咧係有一啲好多我哋以前科學唔認識嘅病毒，佢哋某啲係可能會對人有威脅嘅。嗱，咁2012年有中東呼吸綜合症，而家就係睇到呢個啦，就係我哋中東呼吸綜合症，我哋呢個叫做 EMC，就係一個特別嘅中東呼吸症嘅病毒嘅名嚟嘅。咁你見到嗱，隔離有一條紅色嘅線喎，其實呢就係一個蝙蝠嘅病毒。我哋再睇下沙士，見到有蝙蝠嘅病毒。呢個229E隔離亦都有啲紅色嘅線喎，即係顯示到其實有啲好類似嘅蝙蝠嘅冠狀病毒出現啦。NL63亦都見到個情況就係見到咧，原來咧喺大自然界有好多同人嘅病毒咧係好相似嘅。咁我哋科學嘅解釋就話，可能係過去嘅歷史當中咧，係有一啲咁嘅病毒係經過唔同嘅方法轉化到去人當中，以致變為一個人嘅病毒。特別係譬如話229E嗰個例子，呢個係而家係講緊一個好普通嘅對人係一個產生一個傷風嘅病毒。我哋發覺佢同蝙蝠嘅病毒好相似。呢度係人嘅229E嘅病毒，呢隻蝙蝠嘅229E嘅病毒。你見到咧，其實佢喺基因裏邊咧，大概係好相似嘅。咁我哋根據個演算嘅過程當中咧，就我哋推斷。係過去嗰幾百年之前咧，係蝙蝠唔知乜嘢情況之下咧，將呢個病毒咧傳染到人當中，以致人係變咗一個受體，以致可以喺人同人之間咁有效咁傳播。我哋懷疑今次 COVID-19 亦都會有咁嘅情況出現，因為而家呢個病毒已經係可以人同人之間咁有效傳播。究竟佢會唔會可以我哋人可以方法堵截到去，令到唔繼續散播咧？我哋有一個覺得係一個難度，可能呢個病毒會係一個長時間咧，去到對人有威脅，以致轉化到為一個人嘅病毒。喺幾年之後，佢已經變咗一個人同人之間可能日常我哋都聽到嘅一啲人嘅感染嘅病毒嚟㗎啦，以致係一個人嘅病。咁呢啲咁嘅情況咧，其實咧都唔係個別嘅例子。頭先講嘅冠狀病毒229E係佢咁啦。其實一啲腮腺炎嘅病毒咧，喺人嘅腮腺炎啦，炸腮，其實個病毒咧，其實都有一個同蝙蝠嘅病毒咧係好相似嘅。咁所以我哋睇到原來過去大自然嘅動物界裏邊有啲唔同嘅病毒，佢哋都會轉化到人當中，令到變咗一個人嘅病毒。其他嘅例子，譬如話係一個2009年大流行啦，流感大流行啦，嗰個 H1N1 嘅病毒。亦都係喺豬身上邊傳染到人，以致變咗一個人嘅流感病毒。咁呢一個情況就真係好喺原來歷史上面咧，都唔係一個個別例子，其實都好常會喺歷史當中會揾到呢個例子，係動物傳染俾人，人以致發病，甚至將呢個病毒咧轉化為一個人嘅病毒。好啦，頭先講過我哋個病毒好快就揾得出嚟。其實佢個基因圖譜咧喺1月10號咧，佢已經喺公開度發布啦。公開發布有咩好處咧？知道基因圖譜，當然我哋知道個病毒係啲咩嚟㗎啦。但係如果我哋能夠知道佢基因排序嘅話咧，我哋咧更加可以咧更快揾辦法咧去揾到呢個病毒出嚟。我哋好多謝呢班嘅同事，佢哋當佢揾到呢個病毒之後咧，佢能夠盡快公佈俾世界全個角落。咁正正反映到我哋係其實世衛或者其他公共衞生嘅科學家咧，都希望咧 知道呢件事係一個好嚴重嘅公共衛生嘅事件，佢哋希望大家全世界嘅科學家都能夠攜手去做一啲方法去控制呢個疫情。當我哋知道呢個基因圖譜之後咧，我哋有一個好處就係我哋可以做一啲測試。我哋而家講緊快速測試，其實就係睇下個病毒有冇呢啲咁嘅基因排序。我哋用我哋嘅方法咧去測下究竟呢一個樣本當中或者病人抽取嘅樣本當中有冇啲咁嘅基因排序。咁香港大學啦喺1月10號發現到呢個基因圖譜之後咧，我哋就研發咗呢個快速測試，特別係針對緊測試下究竟有冇呢個基因圖譜裏邊嘅叫做 ORF1B 嘅排序啦，同埋一個 N gene 嘅排序。咁當我哋做咗測試之後咧，我短短幾日之後咧，就16號，1月16，我哋就將呢個我哋揾到嘅測試反覆驗證咗之後，證明佢係能夠可以有效咁使用嘅，亦都係一個好準確，亦都係一個靈敏度好高嘅測試之後，我哋就將呢個報告俾咗世衛。24號咧，世衛就將呢一個嘅快速測試嘅研究咧擺咗佢哋嘅網上邊俾公眾使用，而且我哋咧亦都喺個報告當中亦都同人哋講，當佢哋有需要去援助嘅時候，我哋會俾一啲試劑佢哋，亦都會可能俾一啲我哋叫做 positive control 去俾佢哋啲研究嘅實驗室當中咧去使用，以至咧佢哋能夠咧更快咧係當呢啲做呢啲測試嚟到去實驗室當中去揾到佢哋嘅病人。咁而家呢個橢圓圖睇到嘅咧就係咧，其實咧橙色嘅地方咧就係啲唔同嘅國家喺實驗室裏邊咧係接受咗我哋一啲嘅試劑，佢哋可以咧用住呢啲試劑咧去揾到佢哋病人。譬如話例子有埃及啦、斯里蘭卡啦呢啲咁嘅國家，我哋接受咗個試劑之後，佢哋可以用嘅試劑揾到佢哋第一個病人。我哋嘅目的其實係想俾佢哋能夠盡快可以將呢啲嘅試劑到位，令到佢哋當有個別個案嚟到當中嘅時候，佢哋能夠即刻測試。因為做呢啲試劑或者買呢啲咁嘅試劑嘅時候咧，係需要一段時間嘅。我經驗就係話有啲地方可能要需要3-4個禮拜先可以揾到攞到啲試劑翻嚟。咁我哋而家咧就係直接用空運寄俾佢哋，佢哋能夠即刻可以接收到之後可以使用。咁我哋有一個兩個好嘅例子，就係譬如話中東嘅世衛嘅regional office 啦，佢哋曾經咧因為等唔切，佢哋有兩次咧分別咧係喺埃及搭飛機嚟直航嚟到香港當中攞咗我哋啲試劑，跟住之後咧原機就翻咗去當中派發俾中東嘅國家，等佢哋咧能夠可以即刻可以使用到啲測試。咁當然啦，我哋有一個亦都係一個世衛嘅參考實驗室，我哋就幫助世界一啲唔同嘅國家，佢當佢哋有需要嘅時候，佢哋會將呢個樣本發放到我哋當中，我哋幫佢做測試，幫佢再確診。譬如一個例子就係尼泊爾嘅，佢喺1月頭嗰陣時候咧，即係中嘅時候咧，佢哋揾到呢個嘅病人，佢哋未必有咁嘅能力去做一個確診，佢哋將樣本就帶到寄到嚟香港當中，我哋就幫佢確診，以至咧佢哋能夠揾到佢嘅第一個病人。亦都我哋喺過去亦都幫助唔同嘅實驗室啦，去幫佢哋做一啲數據嘅研究啦。譬如話呢一個係講緊一個中國國家裏邊一個醫院裏邊佢哋嘅病人，我哋幫佢研究呢個數據啦，令到佢哋咧能夠揾到啲輕症同埋重症嘅病人有咩特徵。我哋揾到呢個測試之外咧，有好處就係話我哋能夠咧數下究竟呢個樣本當中有幾多嘅病毒。一啲輕症嘅病毒，即係輕症嘅係咪少啲病毒咧？一啲重症嘅係咪多啲病毒咧？發覺原來係喎，一啲嚴重病徵嘅人，譬如話佢入咗 ICU 嘅，佢哋咧我哋發覺原來佢哋嘅病毒數量咧係高過一啲輕症嘅病人。咁一個好處就係話，如果真係當一個病人嚟到醫院當中，我哋做快速測試，知道究竟呢個病人有幾多病毒嘅數量嘅時候，我哋可以做一個預測，究竟呢個病人需唔需要我哋做一啲更加多啲嘅治療，令到佢個病情咧可以得到舒緩咧？或者知道呢個病人真係可能會入 ICU 嘅時候，我哋會唔會做更加好嘅預備咧，令到個病人咧能夠得到更加適當嘅治療？咁你呢個問題嚟啦，點解我哋有2003年有沙士，而家2019年、2020年亦都有一個新型嘅冠狀病毒？頭先我講過兩個病毒其實都好相似啊。咁點解2003年 嗰陣時候我哋能夠可以控制得到佢哋，唔會令佢全世界蔓延。但係而家2019年呢個新型嘅冠狀病毒，佢發展得咁快，而且係好似一發不可收拾咧。咁我哋就發覺原來個病毒喺病人嘅數量咧係隨著時間嘅改變，但係而家沙士嘅病人同埋新型冠狀病毒嘅改變咧，其實原來好唔一樣。喺呢個就係2003年我哋沙士嘅病人嘅病毒嘅數量越高嘅話咧，就代表佢數量越高。呢個就係時間軸。我哋喺佢病人發病之後第5日、第10日、第15日去做一個病毒嘅測試，睇到咧喺呢個病人大概第10日度咧，佢嘅病毒數量係最高嘅。但係如果喺新型冠狀病毒嘅病人咧，我哋發覺咧，原來佢哋喺頭嗰幾日、頭嗰10日度啦，個病毒咧個數量係好高嘅。跟住咧，當佢哋開始有反應之後咧，佢哋就開始個病毒數量減低啦。咁你見到嗱，呢度頭嗰幾日係病毒數量好高，而呢度相對嚟講係少，而且仲發覺有啲病人咧未有呢個發病之前咧，佢哋已經有大量嘅病毒喺身上邊，即係佢哋感染咗，但係佢未發病，佢可能未有病徵。咁問題就嚟啦。如果一個沙士病人佢真係好病嘅時候，當佢嘅感染性越高嘅時候，就講緊佢病毒數量越高嘅時候，佢哋已經係好病，已經係入到醫院當中，佢哋接觸人嘅機會或者社區裏邊蔓延嘅機會，相對嚟講係減低咗。但係如果你講緊 COVID-19 嘅病人，佢哋喺潛伏期嘅時候已經係可以有感染性，甚至當係有少少病徵嘅時候，佢哋都仲可以喺社區裏邊咧係好自由咁行動嘅話咧，佢哋可以有機會喺唔同嘅社區當中咧散播呢個病毒開去。譬如話佢真係冇病徵嘅，或者係佢好少病徵嘅，佢哋仲可以喺社區裏邊去買嘢食啊，去買餸啊，或者去返學啊。咁嘅情況之下，佢就可以有機會咧將呢個病毒咧喺人同之間咁傳播。咁所以 COVID-19 咁難控制嘅情況就係因為佢哋嘅病毒數量喺一開始嘅時候咧已經係非常之高，而且係佢哋嘅病人咧亦都可以唔係好有嚴重嘅病徵喺嗰刻。咁所以就好早已經可以散播開去。而反之，沙士病人當佢具有傳染性嘅時候咧，佢哋已經係好病，可能已經喺醫院當中接受治療啦。好啦，嗱咁跟住啦，我哋講下究竟我哋而家有乜可行？當呢個病人真係發病感染咗之後，我哋有咩可以醫治佢哋咧？而家呢刻嘅話咧，係未有一個有效嘅治療，或者一個科學驗證到嘅係有效嘅治療。而家我哋有啲唔同嘅臨床測試，最主要而家有兩個比較有希望嘅測試咧，就係我哋用呢個瑞德西韋。或者係一個叫 Calitra， 係一個叫諾匹撈那韋利托那韋嘅一啲混合物，兩個一齊使用嘅一個混合劑。咁呢兩樣嘢就都係而家做緊臨床嘅測試，希望喺啲 COVID-19 嘅病人裏邊咧睇下究竟佢哋係咪真係有用。你可能喺新聞上面聽過佢哋已經咧係發覺有一啲好有效嘅效果，但係記住呢啲係一個好小規模嘅臨床測試。如果係真係需要證明到呢啲咁嘅藥物咧係真係有效嘅話咧，我哋需要咗一啲比較大規模嘅臨床測試咧，去比對究竟睇下究竟呢啲嘅抗病毒嘅藥物咧係對人有幾大幫助。呢個頭先我哋俾過你睇啦，就係病毒嚟到喺細胞當中嘅時候，佢產生一啲蛋白，產生一啲基因，以致佢能夠可以繁殖開去，產生新嘅病毒。而呢個瑞德西韋咧，其實咧就係一個叫做核苷類似物。我哋人可能你聽過我哋嘅基因排序 ATGC RNA 嘅排序就可能係AUGC。咁呢啲就係啲核苷類嘅核苷嚟嘅，咁就係基因嘅排序。咁而呢一個嘅瑞德西韋咧，就係你睇下見到呢一個嘅構造，其實咧係同我哋嘅核苷咧好相似嘅。你見到呢度嘛？呢一個同呢一個個樣其實好相似嘅。咁而家呢個咧瑞德西韋咧，其實咧佢係一個核苷類似物，希望咧就將佢 抑壓到呢個聚合酶抑制抑壓聚合酶嗰個能夠產生呢個基因嘅排序嘅抑制劑嚟嘅。咁情況就係話咧，佢將呢個核苷類同一啲加咗落去細胞當中，咁令到咧佢同呢一個嘅核苷咧爭同呢個爭嘅話咧，令到咧呢個 polymerase 呢個聚合酶咧分辨唔到佢哋邊個係真嘅，咁令到佢產生出嚟嘅基因咧係一啲錯嘅基因，令到佢唔能夠咧可以正常咁樣去繁殖佢自己。咁另外一個啦 ，Calitra 就係其實一個叫做蛋白酶抑制劑。我頭先講過啦，病毒入到細胞當中，佢就產生啲蛋白啊。咁呢一個蛋白酶抑制劑咧，就希望咧抑制佢呢個蛋白嘅產生。當佢唔能夠正常產生啲蛋白嘅時候，佢就唔能夠正常去產生佢自己嘅病毒，以致咧唔能夠繼續繁殖落去啦。咁所以而家現有嘅臨床測試就係用呢兩個嘅臨床測試比較係多啲嘅可行性。但係當然有其他一啲新嘅抗病毒嘅藥物啦，都係做緊唔同嘅測試咁我哋都有希望用唔同嘅方法咧，去揾到一啲比較實質有用嘅抗病毒嘅藥物，以至咧能夠當個病人感染咗之後，我哋能夠使用啦。好，跟住講下呢個疫苗啦。我哋當然有好多可行嘅疫苗啦，譬如話有啲滅活疫苗啊，或者係一啲蛋白疫苗啊，一啲我哋叫做 mRNA 疫苗啊，其實有好多唔同嘅種類咧。我哋係而家係有唔同嘅科學家咧去做一啲測試，希望可以做到一啲咁嘅疫苗，將來可以使用。但係我希望大家同學或者朋友，大家要明白，做呢啲嘅疫苗咧，其實唔係講緊一朝一夕可以做得到，係需要一個長時間嘅研究，證明到呢個病毒係能夠俾呢個疫苗控制到啦。個疫苗係個安全性係非常之要高啦。呢啲都係需要時間咧，去喺臨床裏邊咧做一啲測試，所以大家都唔好期望喺短時間咧可以有呢個疫苗俾大家使用，亦都要大家要明白，而家呢個疫苗唔能夠使用嘅話咧，我哋要用其他嘅方法咧去減低我哋自己喺病毒喺呢個人裏邊咧散播嘅機會。我想講，譬如一個例子俾你聽，就係用2009年我哋嘅新型嘅流感爆發嘅時候，我哋而家其實過去都用咗幾十年嘅流感嘅疫苗啦，咁無論嗰個藥廠、疫苗廠，或者我哋知道嗰個疫苗嘅效用，我哋都其實已經好深厚嘅認識㗎啦。但係2009年我哋喺新型流感爆發嘅時候，講緊係4月出現個疫苗咧，係講緊喺11月真係嚟到香港能夠使用到，係講緊一個咁好，我哋已經知道咁好咁高知識嘅疫苗嘅平台，都要需要咁耐嘅時間，先至可以製造一個疫苗俾人嘅使用，更何況今次一個新型嘅冠狀病毒嘅爆發，儘管我哋嘅科技係比之前發達好多，但係我諗亦都會需要大家心理準備，係一段需要比較長嘅時間咧，先至可以將呢個可用嘅疫苗咧，喺度投入到生產，以至俾人可以使用。好，最後我想大家講翻我頭先個嘢，就係話咧，我哋希望你哋明白呢個病毒咧係一個由動物嚟嘅病毒。第二，我哋已經有一啲臨床可以嘅實驗室嘅測試，可以揾到啲咁嘅病人，以至可以更加早，當病人係病發之前早期嘅時候咧，我哋能夠揾到佢哋，以至佢哋可以能夠得到適當嘅治療。咁將來我亦都會希望咧，大家會有一啲新嘅抗病毒藥物啦，或者疫苗嘅使用。最後我亦都有幾張嘅圖片，希望同學你哋會諗下嘅。其實咧，我哋過去亦都有不斷有呢個病毒爆發，譬如話沙士啊、H1N1 啊、H5N1 啊、Zika 啊，呢啲其實喺歷史上邊咧，其實佢哋喺我哋嘅經濟嘅效益裏邊咧，係有咗好大嘅損害。譬如話 H1N1 全球嘅流感爆發喺2009年係講緊45至55個 billion 嘅 US dollar 嘅損害。咁你諗下，其實我哋真係喺公共衛生每年嘅成本係需要幾多咧？如果我哋真係有多啲嘅資源去做一啲基礎嘅研究，做一啲公共衛生嘅研究，我哋係咪真係需要用咗呢啲咁嘅錢？因為呢啲咁嘅病毒、呢啲咁嘅天災，而令到我哋要咁大損失咧？咁我諗大家要考慮平衡下，究竟我哋應該點樣去使用我哋現有嘅資源？第二啦，頭先講嘅病毒 全部都係講緊喺啲動物傳染俾嚟嘅，譬如話沙士係㗎呢個蝙蝠H1N1 新型嘅呢個流感係由雀鳥豬傳染俾人嘅。其實好多呢咁嘅病咧，又叫新興嘅病毒咧，其實都喺動物出現嘅話咧，咁我哋早過去嗰10年度咧，已經有新嘅我哋叫做 concept， 就係話叫做 One Health 嘅 concept。就其實全世界嘅公共衛生咧，其實唔係淨係講人嘅，可能係其實講緊環境啦、動物啦，譬如話 H5N1、H7N9，佢呢啲都喺啲家禽裏邊爆發嘅。原來呢啲咁嘅病毒，如果喺我哋日常接觸到嘅環境、日常接觸到嘅動物，當佢哋有呢個爆發嘅時候，佢哋都會好間接地影響到人，甚至演化好似今次係影響到人，對全球一個好大嘅威脅。所以同學們，我哋都希望你哋會諗下，究竟我哋將來點樣可以喺全世界為呢個公共衛生咧做一啲事業。最後啦，我哋香港其實過去都受過唔同嘅威脅我哋公共衛生學院、香港公共衛生學院咧、香港大學公共衛生學院咧，都係做緊呢啲唔同嘅研究希望用藉著唔同嘅方法去揾到一啲有我哋叫 evidence-based 嘅 control measure， 即係有證據科學證據支持我哋嘅一啲控制嘅方法我哋好需要將來你哋嘅參與，你哋有興趣做科學家、有志願做科學家嘅話，我好鼓勵你哋去做一啲深入嘅研究。記住，唔一定係做呢個公共衛生，其實全世界咧係一個團隊嚟嘅，每個人嘅角色都唔一樣，有啲可能係做醫生，有啲可能係做科學家，有啲可能係做公共衛生嘅。但係我係希望你哋真係明白，我哋全球嘅衛生咧並唔係靠一個人或者一啲嘅團隊可以做得好嘅，係需要有唔同嘅團隊一齊合作希望你哋能夠，你哋睇到你哋將來究竟喺裏邊咧發揮咩功效。多謝各位。
Thank you, Leo, for that very enlightening talk. So next, I'd like to invite Professor Ben Cowling to speak. Professor Cowling received his doctoral training at the University of Warwick and is currently the head of Division of Epidemiology as well as Biostatistics in the School of Public Health at Hong Kong University. His research is focused on the design as well as the implementation of large field studies of influenza transmission in the community and the efficacy and impact of control measures. He and his team also published a very seminal article in January this year on the early transmission dynamics of COVID-19 in Wuhan. So without further ado, Professor Cowling, please.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Stephanie. And thanks for the opportunity to present this afternoon. I'm going to give an update in English on the current situation of coronavirus. I am an epidemiologist. That means I study how infectious diseases, in this case, how infectious diseases spread between people, who gets infected, when, where, and how do infections spread, why do they occur. I do a number of different kinds of studies in this field. Sometimes I collect data myself, for example, going into the community, taking blood samples or swabbing people to see if there's virus, if they're sick perhaps. Other times I collect data from government sources or from other sources and analyze it. And then I use that data to advise governments either directly or indirectly by publishing my results, like the paper, the figure on the right-hand side of the screen here is some of the results that I was involved in generating about 6 weeks ago from some of the early information in China. And so public health officials, governments can use that information to make decisions about what actions might be better. And an example of that, if you look at the figure on the right-hand side of this slide, the top left panel says days from infection to symptom onset, and it's a curve that goes up and then down again. This is the incubation period for coronavirus. And this is one of the earliest estimates of the incubation period distribution. What you can see is that if someone's infected on day 0, most likely their symptoms would appear within a few days. mostly by 7 days if we go to the middle here, and then almost everybody who was infected would show symptoms by 14 days. There's a little bit beyond that, which we're not exactly sure how far that extends to, but the reason we have a quarantine period of 14 days is because of evidence like this, saying that if someone's infected, almost certainly their symptoms will appear within 14 days. And that's a reasonable time to hold them before letting them go back into the community if we think they might have been infected. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to cover a number of issues. I'm going to talk about the early epidemiological dynamics in Wuhan, and then how infection spread across China and how China was able to stop the spread. I'll then talk about how the virus has spread across the world and what's the current situation of spread in different countries. And then towards the end, I'll talk about how infection spreads from one person to another and what kind of preventive measures are useful. Going back to early January, when infections were being recognized in Wuhan, and by mid or late January, spread was clearly occurring. I worked together with collaborators at China CDC to look at the pattern in the spread of infections from people. And there's some interesting observations in the paper that we publish in New England Journal of Medicine. And some of the key findings were shown on the first slide and then also here. Many of the earliest cases were linked to a particular wet market in Wuhan, and it was presumed or assumed perhaps that they might have been infected in that wet market, although some of the earliest cases were not connected to that wet market and may have been infected through other ways. But as time went on, particularly through January, we saw more and more and more cases who were not linked with the wet market, and that gave a strong indication that infection was not only from the wet market, but there was human-to-human transmission. So an infected person was spreading it to other people who were then being infected and then spreading it onwards. Now, the figure shown here is what we now know was happening, and the bars show how many people had onset of symptoms each day through December and then January. One of the caveats for this kind of analysis is that we don't know who's sick in real time. I don't know today who's just become sick with coronavirus in Hong Kong or in China or in any other country. We only find out that someone's got coronavirus when they go to see the doctor or when they go to hospital and then they get tested. And in January in Wuhan, that process took about a week, sometimes 10 days. So people would get a fever, maybe beginning of January, and then they go to see a doctor maybe a week later. And then the doctor might decide to do a test. And then after another day or two of the testing, it will be confirmed as coronavirus. So the information here, it looks like there was a spread even in December, but actually the information to make that conclusion wasn't available until relatively later in January. And one other thing to be careful about on this graph, we see the epidemic curve. This is called an epidemic curve. It shows the progress of an epidemic over time. We see it goes up and then it goes down again on the right-hand side. Actually, we have to be very careful. The reason it's coming down on the right-hand side is not because the case numbers are dropping. Actually, it's just this delay of 7 to 10 days in identifying cases. So there's only a small number around 19, 20, 21st of January. Actually, there were many more who were subsequently identified, and this epidemic curve would keep going up for another couple of weeks. When we look at the pattern in the epidemic curve, we're able to estimate something called the doubling time. How long does it take for cases to double? And in this case, in the early period, it was taking about a week for cases to double. What does that mean? We'll go back to a famous story about a king in India who liked to play chess and challenge his visitors to play chess. And a wise man, a sage, decided to compete against the king. But when he named his reward, if he was going to beat the king, he said that he would like a chessboard with a grain of rice on the first square and then double it for the second square. So it's 2 grains, and the next one double again, and the next one double again. And the king thought it sounded quite reasonable. and then the wise man won the game. And you look at the chessboard on the left-hand side, the first square is 1, the second one is 2, then it's 4, and then it's 8, and then it's 16, and then it's 32, and then it's 64, and then it's 128, and so on. And it gets very large very quickly. This is called exponential growth, and it happens in epidemics. For coronavirus, the doubling time is about every week. So this happens about every week. If we imagine each grain of rice is a case, we might imagine that somewhere, let's think about what happened in Italy. Maybe in Italy, there were just 1 or 2 cases in mid-January, maybe in travelers from China, 1 or 2 cases. But if they're able to spread infection and then doubling every week, we go to late January, we might have 8, and then through February, 16, 32, 64, and so on. And that may not be only happening in one town in Italy, it may be happening in multiple towns at the same time. And the numbers really get very large, quicker than we expect. Another way to think about how transmission occurs is with a concept called the reproductive number, sometimes called the reproductive rate. And the idea is the average number of infections from a single infected case. At the beginning of an epidemic, everybody in the population might be susceptible. And then as time goes on, if people are infected later on, they won't be infected again. So they'll be immune. But in the early stage, everybody's susceptible. So we can get an idea of how fast spread is occurring. The picture on the right-hand side of this slide illustrates the concept of the reproductive number. If the reproductive number is 2, then the first one infects 2 more, they infect 2 more, and so on and so on. And for coronavirus, this is happening about every week. It's doubling about every week. And so the reproductive rate is also about 2, and the period between generations is about a week as well. One caveat though, on the right-hand side, the figure indicates that every patient is infecting 2 more. That's not completely accurate. Actually, some people might infect a lot, and other people might not infect anybody at all. So the reproductive number is an average, and we might imagine in reality some particularly infectious people, maybe you know someone who coughs a lot and always touching things with their hands, they may be infecting a lot of other people, whereas someone else who's really a very careful person, stays at home as soon as they get any kind of symptoms, maybe they wouldn't infect anyone else. So the reproductive number of about 2, actually we estimated 2.2 is an average. It's a useful number for us to know about for an infectious disease because it tells us how hard we need to try to stop transmission from occurring. If the reproductive number is about 2, then we need to stop half of all transmission events. If we can reduce the transmission from 2 secondary cases for every primary case, if we can reduce that down to 1, so one person infects one other, they infect one other, then we'll keep things very stable. And if we can get it below 1, then the epidemic's eventually going to go away. And the more we can reduce it, the better. But 2.2 is relatively higher than influenza. So for influenza, the reproductive number is in the range of 1.3 to 1.5. So it's relatively more easy to stop influenza transmission in the community than it is to stop coronavirus 2019 transmission in the community. So what did happen in Wuhan? Infections were rising quite rapidly, probably from an earlier time than we realized. So this is an analysis done by myself and some colleagues very, very recently, looking at what might have really been happening in Wuhan because the case definitions changed. In the earliest case definitions used in Wuhan, they're very, very specific, looking for patients with quite serious illness, mostly who should have been linked to the wet market. Actually, there were probably many other patients with milder illness at the same time. And as time went on, the case definitions in China were broadened to allow for the possibility of some milder cases occurring. And the bars here, the epidemic curve here, is not necessarily every infected person, but it's at least everybody who would have met the broadest case definition that's been used in China if it had been used throughout the epidemic. And what we see is really a very large number of infections occurred, probably around 200,000 or more cases that would have been confirmed if the same case definition at the end of the outbreak had been used throughout, and probably more infections than that in reality. But we notice a very rapid decline shortly after 23rd of January. And that's when there was a lockdown placed on the city. And the lockdown had two components. The first component was a cordon sanitaire around the city to stop spread to other parts of China. So if there were some infected people in Wuhan, they couldn't leave. They were stuck in Wuhan, and so they couldn't spread the infection to other parts of China. Actually, by the time this was introduced, it was too late. Infections had already left Wuhan to other parts of China, and they'd even left Wuhan to other parts of the world. So the lockdown did stop subsequent spread, but spread had already occurred outside Wuhan and even outside of China. The second part is really the critical part which helped to control the outbreak, and that were the restrictions on within city movement. Most people were required to stay at home and couldn't go out, maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Of course, essential workers, doctors and nurses, police and so on, were able to go as normal, but most people had to stay at home, and that continued for some time. Remember how infection spread from one person to another? Coronavirus is a respiratory infection like flu. It spreads from one person to another like flu. If you don't meet any other people, you're not going to get coronavirus. If you live by yourself in the countryside, you won't get coronavirus. You won't have a chance. In Wuhan, although it's a big city with a very high population density, if everybody stays in their own home, there's a very limited chance of transmission, except within the same home. And we did actually see, and the World Health Organization reported the observation that there seemed to be a lot of transmission going on in families in Wuhan, a lot of household transmission, but that makes sense because people were staying at home. So if there was one infected person in the home, then everyone else had a chance to get it. But outside the home, very little transmission. The measures used in China were considered by some people to be very draconian. And I wrote an article in a US magazine called Foreign Affairs describing some of the details of how people were kept in their homes and how they're now allowed out by using a special mobile phone app that says they're clear of coronavirus, they have low risk, and so they can go around as normal. But if they were to come into contact with a person with coronavirus, if they were to be suspected that they might have been infected, then the app goes from green to yellow or red, and suddenly they need to stay at home for 7 or 14 days. In other parts of the world, it's not possible to do that kind of thing. It's not possible to force people to stay apart from each other. It mostly will rely on voluntary actions. And that's also true in Hong Kong. But we do need to think of ways to keep people apart from each other if we want to slow down spread of something like coronavirus. What's happening in the rest of the world? This is a plot of the situation in lots of different countries. The y-axis of this plot is on a logarithmic scale. That means it doesn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the numbers go up. It goes 100, 300, then 1,000, then 3,000, then 10,000, and so on. So the numbers rise exponentially on the y-axis. And so we know with infectious disease epidemics, at least in the early stage, they rise exponentially, just like the grains of rice doubled every time. And so when we plot an exponential rise on a logarithmic scale, we're doing a log of an exponential, which comes back to a straight line. And we see actually, it's true in many of these countries, there's almost a straight line on a logarithmic scale in terms of their increase in cases. We see Italy up in the top right with more than 10,000 cases now, and it's been almost exponential rise, just slightly less than exponential. Iran lagging a little bit behind, but then we look at France, Germany, and Spain, and a little bit further back to the US, we see they're not that far behind. And if we just project what happened in Italy, 2 weeks later, that's going to happen in France, Germany, and Spain. And 2.5 weeks later, it's going to happen in the US and Switzerland. A little bit later, Norway, Sweden, United Kingdom, if things continue. Japan's a little bit lower, and then Singapore and Hong Kong down here are doing actually very well in stopping an epidemic from taking off, in preventing an epidemic from taking off. And so we are a long, long way away from what happened in Italy, what's been happening in Italy, and what might happen in other places. In Italy, the situation is really very, very critical. Reports from hospitals suggest that doctors have to make life and death decisions about which patients can be given critical care, which patients can be given which patients can be admitted to intensive care units. And the priority is going to younger patients rather than older patients, because younger patients would have a longer life expectancy if they were to be successfully treated in intensive care unit and survive coronavirus. We don't imagine these kind of situations facing doctors usually. And it's really a very worrying scenario. And it may be going on in other countries fairly soon as well. So how have Singapore and Hong Kong, and also to some extent Taiwan, managed to stop the spread of coronavirus? So I have another article about this if you're interested to read in New York Times with details about the different measures that have been used in these three locations without resorting to the draconian measures in China. I want to introduce the concepts of containment and mitigation, which are public health concepts in the control of infectious disease epidemics. Containment is what we're doing in Hong Kong, and it's what some other countries have tried, and it's what China was able to succeed in. The objective of containment is having no cases. And if you have cases, you want to stop there from being any more cases. That's the objective of containment. Stop transmission from occurring as quickly as possible. Do not allow any infections to spread. How do we do that? Firstly, we need to find as many cases as we can. Find as many infected people as we can, if there are any. Test them to make sure we know who's got the infection and who hasn't, so we don't waste time on people who have something else, not coronavirus. And then when we find them, isolate them so they don't spread infection to anyone else. And at the moment in Hong Kong, in Singapore as well, we can do that in hospitals, in isolation rooms, with doctors and nurses that are very careful with what they do, so they don't themselves get infected, and there's no other patients around in the same wards. It's isolation wards. So the coronavirus patients are by themselves. They can't spread infection to anyone else. And then we'll try to find their close contacts, maybe their family members, maybe their close friends, anyone they've spent prolonged period of time in the past, in a few days or even a week or more, since they became symptomatic or shortly before their symptoms began. And for those close contacts, because they may have been infected, even though they don't show symptoms yet, we put them in quarantine for 14 days. Most of them may not be infected. Some of them will turn out to have been infected, will show symptoms. We can test them and then put them quickly in isolation so that they won't pass on infection any further. So the objective of containment, firstly, let's not have any cases. Secondly, if we do, let's stop them from spreading. And thirdly, even if they have spread to another generation, let's stop it there. Don't let it go any further than that. Containment can be helped by reducing the number of infections to deal with, because isolation takes resources, contact tracing takes resources, and quarantine takes resources as well. It's a lot of resources to do containment. So the fewer infections coming in to Hong Kong or maybe to Singapore or other places, the fewer infections that come in, the better. So that's why we have travel restrictions, is to stop infected people from coming in and adding to the workload of the public health authorities who are doing containment measures. We can also help by slowing down transmission in the community. Maybe there's some infections that are missed. We know that happens from time to time. There was a cluster of infections in the temple in North Point, which was initially missed. If we can slow down those kind of things, reduce the chance that they happen, then we're also saving resources for the containment team. Containment is difficult to sustain. We're doing it now in Hong Kong. We've been doing it for 6 weeks. It's difficult to keep it going indefinitely because it requires so much effort by so many people. And if we were to have one large outbreak, maybe some silent case appeared in Hong Kong and spread it, and then another generation and then there's 100 people suddenly detected, maybe in another temple or a church or in a company, in a call center like in South Korea. If that were to happen, it would place really a big challenge to sustain containment measures. In other countries, they haven't even attempted containment. In some parts of the world, they don't have the laboratory testing capacity to even attempt to do containment. And in other countries, they might have tried to do it, but failed, maybe because there were too many cases too quickly, and so it's difficult. At that point, public health authorities will change from stopping infections to what's called mitigation. That's on the right-hand side of this slide. So once there's an epidemic occurring, like I showed in Italy and probably in other European countries and in the United States, the focus is to slow down transmission and spread out infections over a longer period of time. And the best way to do that is by keeping people away from each other, reduce the chances for transmission to occur. And there's a number of specific social distancing measures that I'll talk about in a moment. But then social distancing measures have major social and economic costs. In Wuhan, extreme social distancing was able to stop the outbreak, but it also stopped businesses from operating for weeks, and it stopped factories from running for weeks. And all of those will have economic consequences. If an epidemic is not mitigated, if no effort is made to stop it and there's uncontrolled transmission, the sketch of what might happen is shown on the left-hand part of this slide. And Italy is down here on the just above the capacity of the healthcare system, but still with probably another 3 or 4 weeks to go until a peak in their epidemic. So you can see they already exceeded in Italy the capacity of their healthcare system in terms of the intensive care facilities, or almost exceeded it perhaps. So they're somewhere around where the epidemic curve on the left crosses the dashed line, and they still have a lot further to go. The idea of mitigation is to spread out those infections over a longer period of time, reduce how many infections occur and spread them out so that the intensive care units are not overwhelmed with hundreds of patients at the same time. They can deal with 5 a day or 2 a day or 1 a day, even better, so they can cope. Because when someone's admitted to intensive care, sometimes they need to stay there for quite a while. And so if intensive care units are already filling up and the peak is still 3 or 4 weeks away, really there's going to be massive pressure on intensive care facilities in those kind of places. I've seen a number of versions of this diagram on the internet. Sometimes they put the dashed line a little bit higher and say the idea of mitigation is to keep the epidemic curve below the capacity of the healthcare system. Actually, I think even in this diagram, the dashed line is too high. In reality, the dashed line is lower because healthcare systems do not have a lot of excess capacity. Hospitals are typically running close to full because that's the way that they can run most efficiently without having wasted capacity in some sense. Although now we'd like them to have spare capacity, in reality they often don't. And mitigation often can't have as much of an effect as is suggested in this diagram. Often mitigation will be somewhere between the two curves. So mitigation will reduce the surge, but it will still exceed by some distance the capacity of the healthcare system. It will just exceed it by less than if nothing at all was done. And every effort that's made to reduce that surge will save lives. What are the ways that an epidemic can be mitigated? Typically by social distancing. So school closures, which we're doing in Hong Kong, means children don't mix with each other. And if one child was infected, they wouldn't be able to spread to all their classmates and their teacher and then have an outbreak in the school. For coronavirus, we're not sure exactly how likely children are to be infected. What we've seen so far is that children do seem to get infected if they get exposed, and they seem to have mild illness. Whether or not they can spread infection onwards, we don't know. So in Hong Kong, we close schools as a precaution. Workplaces can also close or have work at home policies, so people can stay at home and don't need to go on public transport, don't need to stay in their office with lots of other people, and can spend more time away from everybody else. Another important component is cancellation of mass gatherings and events. For example, sports matches. I know churches, temples, other religious events are cancelled. Businesses often now will not have large meetings of people together to avoid the potential of an outbreak occurring. And then we can all do our own part as well. We can all voluntarily stay at home more and stay away from other people when we do go out. I live by a country park and it's now very busy in the country park. There's more people in the country park than in Mongkok. The other thing we can do, apart from social distancing, is that even when we do mix with other people, we can have personal protective measures. We can be careful about washing our hands more. If we go into the downtown area, we're touching lift buttons, we're touching handrails, we're in the MTR, we're in the bus. We'd be very careful that if our hands might have got contaminated by touching a surface, we'll sanitize them with alcohol hand rub or find somewhere to wash them as soon as possible. And we can also all wear face masks to contribute to reducing transmission. And I'll talk about face masks in a moment. So how does coronavirus spread? It spreads in the same way as other respiratory viruses spread, like influenza and like common cold viruses. The most common way in which it spreads is when an infected person is breathing out or coughing out or sneezing out virus among whatever else comes out of their mouth, the droplets and so on, and another person is standing quite close and breathes it in. So someone's standing, they cough or they breathe out, it comes towards you and you breathe it in, and that's the virus inside your body and then infecting you. Most transmission occurs at close range. Another way transmission can occur is what's called fomites, which are objects in the environment that can act as passengers, that can help the virus to stay there, and the virus can be a passenger on those surfaces. For example, handrails, door handles, or so on a bus, in a shopping mall, wherever. So the virus could be on those surfaces, you touch it, you've never seen an infected person, they were there 30 minutes earlier, an hour earlier, they touch the handrail, you come along, you touch the handrail, and then you touch your nose, touch your mouth, and then you get infected that way. And the third way, which is relatively unlikely for all respiratory viruses, is somehow you're in a room or you're on a bus or the MTR, there's a sick person some distance away, coughing or breathing out virus, and that somehow it reaches you because it could go a little bit further. This can happen for all respiratory viruses, but it does not happen very often, because if you're a long way away from the other person, hardly any of the virus from them will get to you. There's a lot of other places it can go. It's a big world. So the long range transmission for any respiratory virus is possible in theory, but very unlikely. The only time when it might come into play is if you spend a lot of time in a very poorly ventilated room with other people and there's virus in the air and it doesn't get blown away by the ventilation system. That's the only time that that might come into play. So what about face masks? I'm not wearing a face mask now. Actually, I wore a face mask when I came here and I will wear it again when I leave, but I'm not wearing it right now because there's nobody near me. There's only a few other people in this big lecture theatre that I'm presenting from, and there's nobody even close to me. So I think it's not a good use of my face mask right now to wear it. I want to make a few points about face masks and use some common sense. So it's true, the first point, there's limited evidence about their effect on respiratory virus transmission, but that's true about everything. That's also true about hand hygiene, by the way, but we still do it because we know that we can contaminate our hands with virus and infect ourselves that way. We know how viruses spread, so we know how to stop them from spreading. It's obvious that face masks should be able to stop something, maybe not 100%, but should be able to do something. And we know there's a distinction between absence of evidence and evidence of absence. So when people say there's no evidence that they work, they're not saying there's evidence that they don't work. They're just saying there's no evidence that they work, but there's no evidence about a lot of things. I'll repeat, there's no evidence that hand hygiene prevents something like influenza, but we think it does work to some extent. A second important point, and I really want to say this very clearly, face masks are needed for healthcare professionals, not only in Hong Kong, but around the world. And if a country in the world has a very limited supply of face masks, they should certainly prioritize them for healthcare professionals because they need them the most, and we need healthcare workers to look after us if we get sick. So we would like them to be confident in looking after us by having face masks that they need. Having said that, I was involved in a World Health Organization project to look at what countries can consider doing if there's an influenza pandemic, not a coronavirus pandemic, but an influenza pandemic. And in those guidelines, we did say that universal use of face masks, that means everybody wears face masks, that should be considered in a severe influenza pandemic if supplies are available. And I'll say one thing, which is kind of obvious. If the whole world had a plentiful supply of cheap surgical masks, there is every reason to believe that every government would recommend everybody wears face masks. I'll say it again. If there was a plentiful supply of cheap surgical masks, everybody in the world would be wearing them now, for sure. A problem we have is we do not have a plentiful supply of surgical face masks. And so we need to think about how to use the masks that we do have in the best way. So I'll give some rational advice. Make best use of limited supply of face masks. Wear them if you're going to crowded areas. Wear them if you're going on public transport. And definitely wear them if you think you might have been infected for some reason. Maybe you knew someone who was coughing near you and you're worried you might have been infected. Definitely wear it, even if you yourself don't have any symptoms. And of course, the World Health Organization advised that if you're sick, you should definitely be wearing a face mask. In fact, you should be staying at home. If you have to go out, you should wear a face mask for sure. But one really important piece of advice, you need to wear it properly. Picture on the right-hand side, I saw in a very high-profile scientific journal describing something about the situation in Italy. And I look at the picture and it's kind of disappointing. You see the first guy is wearing a mask without the straps done up, so it's not doing much good. The next two have N95 respirators, which is not appropriate and not necessary for use in the community. Actually, those masks really are needed by healthcare workers who are doing high-risk procedures in intensive care units, and there's never enough of those for the world. There's some countries who can't get those kind of masks now, so we should not be wearing those ourselves in the community. There's another person here wearing a scarf. Maybe it would help, but he didn't cover his nose. There's another lady down here wearing an N95, and the picture's a bit blurry, but it looks to me like the N95 is not covering her nose. So she's wearing the most expensive, most high protection type of mask, and it's not covering her nose. It's not covering her nose, so it's a total waste. And I'll say another couple of things. These people are all outdoors. There's very low risk of transmission outdoors in general. Of course, if someone coughs in your face outdoors, you're going to breathe in whatever they coughed out. But in general, it's a low risk setting. And I don't think N95 will be justified outdoors. In general, these people are in a crowd because they're waiting to rush into the supermarket to buy toilet paper. But in general, it's not necessary to wear masks outdoors. In general, we can save them for when we go into crowded areas with a lot of other people, save them when we're going on public transport, because we don't have an unlimited supply of them. And one other thing I want to say, there's something a little bit illogical here. So an N95 respirator is specifically designed to protect the wearer from very fine particles that can stay in the air called aerosols, If there were, I think there's not, if there were aerosols about in the environment here, they'll be contaminating this guy's face and maybe going in his eyes. And so really, if you wear an N95 respirator, you should be wearing eye protection as well. If you're really that worried and you want to be super, super protective of yourself, you should wear eye protection as well. This guy's not. So I think it's really a lack of information about the right way to use face masks and the right masks to use. So no need to wear N95 respirators. Surgical masks are fine, and use them in the best way. Two other things briefly. I'm coming to the end now. Do not overwear the same mask. We know that surgical face masks are disposable and they're not designed to be worn for days and days or weeks for the same mask. They're not designed that way, and they don't work properly after they've been used for a certain amount of time. So I took my mask off, I put it inside a tissue, I've got it, and I'm going to put it back on again when I leave this afternoon. I'm not going to overwear the same mask, but I'm also not going to throw away a mask after I've worn it for 30 minutes. I'm going to save and have a little bit more use out of it. I haven't got that many masks. I haven't got that much of a stockpile. And I know many other people do not have a big stockpile. But I think if we are worried about our stock, let's also remember that the elderly and the vulnerable people in our community may not even have as many as we do. And I would encourage all of you to think about how we can protect elderly particularly. Maybe we need to share some of our masks with elderly and let them have the protection from face masks as well. I feel sad when I see an old person on the street, public transport, who doesn't have a face mask, because if an old person gets infected with coronavirus, it can be very, very serious. For me and for younger adults particularly, and for children, it's not such a serious infection. None of us would like to get it, but let's also think about how to protect the elderly. Okay, the current situation in Hong Kong. I'm going to talk very briefly about the reproductive number. Let's see. Yeah, I'm nearly at the end. I got 2 more slides. So for Hong Kong, we know there have been a number of infections locally. We've also had a lot of importations, but if we just look at the local infections, they've occurred sporadically over time. And on the bottom of this figure is our estimate of the reproduction number over time. I said earlier, if you remember, that in Wuhan, the reproduction number was 2 at the start, actually 2.2 at the start. So that's here. In Wuhan, it was 2.2. In other countries, we think it's also in the range 2, maybe up to 2.5. It varies from place to place. It's not the same everywhere. We can reduce it by doing interventions. And in Hong Kong, it looks like we've been able to bring the reproductive number below 1 and quite substantially below 1 for the whole month of February and so far in March. And let's hope we can keep it that way so that transmission doesn't occur. We don't have spread of infections in Hong Kong. School closures had a massive effect on the local flu season. Again, looking at the reproductive number in the bottom left, reproductive number of seasonal flu was up between maybe 1.5 and a little bit higher, 1.8 at the start of January, but it dropped a bit over time, and it dropped substantially after January the 23rd, when Hong Kong also started to make some serious efforts to stop coronavirus transmission. We can't say whether school closures have had a big effect on coronavirus transmission because we're still in containment mode, but we can say they had a massive effect on influenza, and not only school closures, because on this slide I show the effect of school closures in 2010-11 and another year, 14-15. And in both times, school closures did have an effect, but relatively limited. Whereas in 2020, a very big effect. So it's not just school closures, it's the other measures, while wearing a mask and staying at home more. So the last 2 slides. Firstly, when will the coronavirus go away? Sorry, it probably won't go away. It's kind of bad news, but that's the reality. It's not going away. Will it go away in the summer? Some people said, oh, SARS went away in the summer. It's not true. SARS went away because of human effort. A massive amount of effort by a lot of people in a lot of countries managed to eliminate SARS from the world, only by human effort, not because of the summer. Influenza transmission does come down in the summer a little bit. Coronavirus might come down a little bit in the summer as well, but it's not going to get rid of it. And anyway, coronavirus is now in every continent of the world. Epidemics are going to occur in Europe, in the United States, probably in the Southern Hemisphere as well in the coming weeks and the coming months. There's a definite risk of a second epidemic wave in China. So they've had an end to infections for now, but coronavirus is going to keep coming back to China from other countries. And if people return to normal life, it's going to be a definite risk of having a second epidemic wave. And as Professor Poon said, we're not going to get a vaccine for a while. So what are we going to do? First point, we're all in this together. Let's not think about infected people as them, and let's try and stop them from spreading it. Any of us could be the next to be infected. We have to think about community as a whole. Let's think about protecting other people by wearing masks, by staying at home more, by washing our hands, and by behaving in a way that even if we were infected, we'd not be spreading it to other people. And if we come into contact with other infected people, we don't ourselves get infected. The government is going to continue the containment measures. We need to be on the lookout for outbreaks to occur, because if outbreaks do occur, especially if a large outbreak was to occur somewhere in Hong Kong, it would be going to probably overwhelm the system and cause a serious issue for containment. And at that point, we might need to switch to mitigation. If an epidemic does begin, we can then think about the mitigation measures, as I mentioned, the social distancing, stay at home more, and reduce our risk of infection when we do go out. And the last point, to repeat again, we need to think about ways to protect the most vulnerable. We look at what's happening in Italy. Most of the people dying are the over 60s, over 70s, and some over 80s, not the younger adults in whom it's mostly mild. Let's think about how we can protect them. Okay, I'm going to finish there.
So thank you, Ben, and both Ben and Leo, for the very informative and also inspiring talks. We are running a bit over time, but we've got an overwhelming number of questions that I've channeled in through the Q&A box. So let's squeeze some time for the question and answer. So can we invite Professor Poon and Professor Cowling to come in to the screen?
Yep, the mask on now.
Yeah, we got our masks. Can we see each other?
Really?
Oh, it's the backing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
no.
ghosts.
We're ghosts.
Step forward. Yeah, we're here. We're here. We're here.
Oh.
Right.
That's okay. I'm not very important. I'm just asking the questions anyway. So that's okay. As long as I see you, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah,
So I tried to group the questions based on, sort of like the area that they're asking. So maybe first regarding the COVID-19 test. Are the tests actually standardized across the world?
Actually not. Actually, different countries have their own test. But then now the problem is some of the developing countries actually they don't able to manage to produce their own test. So these are the countries in this new test mode. So that's why we have been developing this test and then distributing this test to these countries so that they can able to pick up their patient early. Otherwise, I mean, if we let these patients actually get into the community, they can continue to spread. So that is a real problem.
So do we have, so also still regarding the test, do we have the capacity to test all the people with like flu-like symptoms in our community? Because if we can do this, then we can also quickly identify and quarantine these people.
That actually is a bit of a problem because even we develop the test, now some of the countries we are not able even to afford to buy those reagents. So in particular, the developing countries, they may not able to buy so many tests to actually do the work. So in reality is no. Even some developing countries, they may not able to afford to actually screen all of them. So I mean, now I think what you have to wait and see. Now, if the situation get worse and a lot of people get the infection, then I think the health organization or maybe public health laboratory even forget about to give up the testing. They just try to confirm the case based on the clinical presentation. So right now the test is only for those who actually have about to have an outbreak or maybe at the early stage of the outbreak. Then this test will be useful. But when the peak is reached up to the top, then it's no point doing.
If you're in the containment mode, testing is critical because you need to find every case. And in Hong Kong, we're okay. We can test more than 1,000 people every day. South Korea is testing 10,000 people every day. But in other countries, if they're having an epidemic like in Italy, you don't need to use the test anymore in general, but you do want to keep track of infection as it spreads. And especially if it spreads to other places, you want to keep an eye on it, but you don't need to test every person. So also for the US, for UK, other places, the testing capacity is essential for containment. But as you have an epidemic, you still need the test, but you don't need to test every patient anymore.
So it's true that you can confirm someone having to have COVID-19 with just a test or with just a clinical diagnosis. There's no need to have a test positive and then also have a X-ray.
So if there's a large rat rate, you don't need to confirm every patient. And in China, they stopped actually using the test at the peak in Wuhan because if there's a patient with viral pneumonia, with shortness of breath, breathing difficulties, and you've got a massive epidemic of coronavirus, the chances are that that patient's also got coronavirus. You don't need to do the lab test to confirm it. And the treatment you're going to use for that patient is the same anyway, whether or not they have a positive test. So you just assume they have it and then act accordingly.
Okay. So we also have some more scientific questions. So Leo talked about remdesivir, right? Sorry, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. So it acts as a polymerase inhibitor, right? So which hinders the replication of our RNA. So how can it target infected cells specifically, but not healthy cells?
Right, because these actually targeted viral polymerase. So, and which human cells doesn't matter. So basically, that drug we're able to bind to the, like pretending this is the viral polymerase, and they can actually fit in the pocket, so that it can block the transcriptions. But since human or mammalian cells don't have this type of polymerase, they don't able to be blocked by these drugs. So this is quite specific.
That's specific. So are there any evidence of rapid mutation of COVID-19? Are you already seeing a slight, different DNA structure of our viruses found in different countries?
It is evolving, but then, I mean, actually they're 99% similar. So they're doing it, but then now, the tree that I showed you basically only focus on a few mutations, but they are not critical at the moment. So, but the problem is, if it continues to evolve, like for the vaccines, whether they will be effective or not, if the mutation actually occur in a very critical regions like the spike protein, then the vaccine may not work. So that is a problem. So that's why we need to monitor the sequence closely, so that we can actually project how would that happen in the future.
There are also some very practical questions, like how long does a virus live on non-living things, like doorknobs or like on the table?
It's a good question. For other viruses, I mean, it depends on the surface, but it can be hours. Even there's some studies which find virus can survive for a day or more. For this coronavirus, I think there's very little evidence about that, but we assume that it can survive on some surfaces, at least for a period of time. That makes us want to be careful when we're touching handrail in the bus, in the MTR. Let's imagine that it might be contaminated and then act accordingly.
Right. Actually, I did a study about that. Right. So I can tell you. So basically, we try to put some virus on different surfaces. Yeah. Plastic, metals, paper. Yeah. They could, at room temperature, they can survive for 4 days.
Wow.
Right. So at least.
Wow.
So some of these, like tissue paper, they may survive on less time, maybe 2 days.
Wow.
So it depends. I mean, the virus actually do subscribe on. They change their infectivity on different surfaces, but on metal they actually survive for quite a long time. So that's why we need to clean the door handle.
Yeah, right.
And the handrail properly, which is actually quite important.
Yeah, of course. Wow.
There was also, a question, also a very practical question on the mask. How many times can the same mask be reused? Is there a recommended number? Yeah. How can we strike a balance between limited supply and hygiene?
No, that's a really good question, and I don't have a good answer. There's been no studies, because for disposable surgical masks, in the past, there's been no shortage of supplies. So everybody just says, the recommendation is just say, wear it for 3 or 4 hours and then discard it, and that's the end. We know that the materials inside don't last forever. They're disposable, there's temporary, and there will be degradation of the materials over time. I would guess if you use it more than a day, it's not going to have as good performance as a fresh mask, but maybe having a mask with partial performance is better than not having a mask at all. And I'll make one other point I didn't mention earlier. Common sense, if we think the mask is working, the outside of my mask is going to get contaminated. If I've been in exposure to someone with a virus, if I go touching the front of it, if I take it off and put it in my pocket, I've contaminated my hands, my pocket. If I put it on my desk, I've contaminated my desk. We've got to be really careful. At the moment, there's been very little virus in the community, very few cases in the community. But as time goes on, if there are cases in the community, if we want to get the best value out of our face masks, we need to be really careful. Don't touch the front of them. Wash our hands whenever we touch the mask. Imagine that it's actually really been contaminated and then act accordingly. Don't just put it on the table, because you just contaminated the table with the virus. And then even if you don't touch the table, someone else might. That's really a critical thing with masks.
And the last practical question, likely from a parent, is should I send my kids to school if school resumes in April?
Sure, if school resumes, then the judgment is that it's safe to send children back to school. So send your kids to school. I think if the situation changes, then keep up with the situation. If it's safe to go back to school, then go back to school. And then if there was an outbreak in the future, whether it's in a few months or
right now, all these cases are adults, right?
Yeah, almost all the known cases of adults. We think children could get affected, but it's very mild. Yeah. We don't know yet whether children can spread it. School closures are being used. They were used in China. They're used in Italy now, and some other places. US have started closing schools. So if in places where there's epidemics, it may be a good idea to have schools closed just to stop people mixing in the community in general. But in Hong Kong, I think we've had schools closed for a while, and kids need to get their education as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, it seems that there tends to be like a slight prevalence in male having the COVID-19. I guess that's not significant, right? I mean, it's never so small.
No, we've seen it in other places as well, not just in China. It's not clear why that is, whether it's whether just a difference in the risk of infection or a difference in the risk of getting more seriously ill. Men are more likely to have some other health conditions, maybe more likely to be smokers, or some other factors that make them more likely to get serious illness, and that's how they end up in the data set with the confirmed cases, because they're severely ill, and the ones with mild illness don't get confirmed.
Is it for COVID-19? Are there super spreaders like
it's not clear. So for any virus, there's a chance that some people will spread infection more than others. And we've seen a few events where a lot of infections have occurred. There was a church in Korea with 5,000 people infected, but it's not clear if that was person to person a lot or whatever. The cruise ships, we've seen a lot of transmission, but it's not clear whether it was one person that was extremely infectious or just there was a lot of people in close confines. I think it's not yet clear.
But what we know is those who are in severe situation, they have a much more virus than the milder case. But then, does it spreading the disease to other people? We don't know. But then theoretically, the more virus you are, then the more likely you're able to spread it. But then you be controlled by the behavior. So it's really hard to say. I do like I would like to reiterate the point about the risk factor. The elderly actually who are actually at risk. If they get the disease, then they're more likely to develop severe symptoms, and they're more likely to die from the infection. So we really have to actually try to reallocate some resources, how to actually take care of these group of people.
So what lessons can we learn from the early transmission and control measures in Wuhan? So what are the predictions for the situations in like Hong Kong or other places where the number of cases are starting to shoot up recently?
So Hong Kong and Singapore, I think, are going to be okay for a while. We're in containment mode, and it seems to be working. But in other countries, I think really they're in mitigation phase. They've got epidemics with rising incidence, and they're going to try as hard as possible to stop transmission or to slow it down so that their hospitals don't get overwhelmed. And what happened in Italy is a warning for other countries that in 2 weeks' time, they may find themselves in a very similar situation if they don't manage to slow down transmission. I think from the figure that I show with the exponential increase in many other countries, it's just a matter of time before the same kind of numbers of cases appear in other parts of the world. But obviously, if governments take decisive actions to slow down transmission, if they get people to stay at home as much as possible, then transmission will be slowed down. And that's one of the lessons from China. That in the extreme scenario, if everybody stays at home for a month, then the epidemic will die out. But of course, in most parts of the world, governments can't make everybody stay at home for a month. And there's also enormous economic consequences of doing that, which some countries might not be willing to bear.
So there were also some queries about the dog that was tested positive or weakly positive for the virus. So is the dog actually infected or just carrying it out, because of course?
Well, the dog, this is quite likely because the dog cells actually carrying very similar cellular receptor, which the virus can use to infect. In the SARS times, we know that cats is susceptible, civet cat is susceptible. So, I mean, other mammalian species may be able to be infected by this virus. But the question is, even they are infected, would they be able to spread the disease to another individual? This is the thing that we don't know.
So, and lastly, I think someone was also concerned about, there was news a few days ago saying that those people that recover from COVID-19 would also have about 20 to 30% of their lung function deteriorating. Is this true? Does it depend on how severe the symptoms of that patient have? Or
I think that's possible for people with severe disease, and it's not only true for coronavirus; it's true for any kind of pneumonia. If someone gets severe pneumonia, if they're in intensive care, when they recover, they don't get back to 100%. That's true for anything, not just for coronavirus. For the mild cases, it's not clear. There hasn't been enough research on the milder cases of whether something similar might happen. I would suspect not. I would suspect it's something with the more severe cases, and that's what we see with other serious infections as well.
Right. I think we should not be in a panic mode because now so far statistically only 3% of these individuals died, and then many of these actually recover. So actually, and then a lot of people actually get a mild illness, so they are not end up in a very severe kind of situation. So I mean, I think we have to be actually more optimistic on that. I mean, try to think positively. I mean, this is a disease that we are now facing now. We have to try to find a way to try to control it better.
That's right. That's a good point. So we should all stay optimistic, stay vigilant, right? And hopefully everyone will stay healthy. So with that, we're completely overrun on time, but I'd like to take this chance to thank Professor COWLING and also Professor Poon for their very inspiring and also informative sharing today. Hopefully the audience out there learned as much as I did. I definitely learned a lot. So thank you very much for your time. Okay, and
thank you.
That's all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.